So after the Gettysburg Address, Lincoln made a final commitment to end the war. The Union re-energized themselves, and they began the Wilderness Campaign, which led to the battles of the Wilderness, the battles of Spotsylvania, and the Battle of Cold Harbor. In each of these battles, the Union pressed forward despite heavy casualties, but could never reach or capture Richmond. So they tried another tactic farther south. William Tecumseh Sherman will start what's called the Sherman's March, where he will march through the state of Georgia, destroying everything in its path. This is a total war tactic, and they destroyed the railroad lines, the bridges, the roads, the crops, the fields. Atlanta burned to the ground. Savannah was captured and given to President Lincoln as a Christmas gift from Sherman. But still, the Confederates did not give in, despite this horrible total war they were experiencing. Sherman's march there. That sketch really sums it up, I believe. So Sherman will make his march right through here, and then take a turn north to head up towards Virginia for the end of the war, perhaps to help capture Lee's Confederate army. After a 9-month siege at Petersburg, Virginia, finally, with more reinforcements, Grant is able to take Petersburg and then Richmond, and Lee finds himself his army injured, cut off, surrounded, without supplies, and facing huge losses if they continue to fight. Despite Lee saying that he'd rather die 1,000 deaths than surrender to Grant, he ends up doing so at the Appomattox Courthouse, which is just a rural farmhouse in Virginia. Unconditional surrender. Grant uncharacteristically had tremendous mercy on the Confederate Army and General Lee. Of course, he was ordered and encouraged to do so by President Lincoln. But he lets the soldiers go home as long as they turn their weapons, and he even lets Lee and the other generals be free as well. But on April 9th, 1865, the Civil War is finally over, and the country could start the process of healing and restoring itself and moving forward, hopefully as a stronger, more peaceful, freer, more democratic country than ever before. The effects of the war are long-reaching. The death tolls, depending on what you look at, 620,000 is one number that you'll see. You'll see numbers that are higher than that as well. The war does, with the 13th Amendment, which will come afterwards, permanently end slavery in America. It also ends the argument of states' rights as the country becomes the United States instead of these United States. So it gives the federal government more power. The newly freed slaves have many struggles in front of them as they are not prepared for life as free men. That will be a problem. The South lies in ruins, particularly Virginia, Georgia, and Mississippi, and tremendous hostility between the sides remains. Although these huge obstacles will continue going forward, the fact of the matter is true that the country will recover and eventually become stronger, freer, more equal, more democratic than ever before, more powerful than ever before. So it just goes to show you that in our country's darkest hour, we persist and continued on and came out stronger in the end.